What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Artie, Executive Director of Film. It's a Art. I'm joined by my fellow scouts at Film It's Art here, Dalen, Cam. It's another week of football. It's another week of the Sunday Spiral, and it's a week where I actually show my face this time. So, before we get into all the recap and reaction to the past crazy week of NFL action, how's everyone doing today?
Look, man, as Brother Moody said, this is still the longest week of our lives, and it's just Wednesday. It's getting dark at 5. Shit is getting real depressing. Shit is getting real depressing, bro. But we surviving, bro. We chilling. We surviving. As long as I got football, as long as I got basketball, I'm okay.
I don't mind it. James. I like dark.
All right, Batman.
Literally, all they're missing is the Pooh Shiesty ski mask right now.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes you gotta make things cool.
You
You
bring
know
the
it's crazy.
darkness.
It's
Me.
crazy. The
Who
week
would?
was supposed to be so good this week. Young Thug got out of jail. Like we were supposed to be partying and. Huh?
Damn, I ain't gonna hold you. I actually forgot the guy. I actually
That's how
forgot.
bad this week has been. Like
Fuck.
all the good shits get swept under the rug. Like nigga,
Oh
I
my
forgot it's my damn
god.
birthday this weekend. Like
Oh my
it's just been terrible. It's been
oh my
terrible.
goodness, bro. I actually
Mhm.
forgot Thug got out.
Today was a great day.
Shit. For you, maybe, not for me.
Damn, I'm in the wrong button. Okay. It is time for our icebreaker. Icebreaker time. The question reads: what's your favorite trade deadline moment? I'll answer this first. Honestly, this might be funny. My favorite trade deadline moment was actually when the Cowboys traded for Jonathan Mingo because I laughed so hard. Like, I mean, this is probably the last time I'll talk about the Cowboys this season on this episode. I mean, on this show. But I just found it funny that after your quarterback damn near tears his hamstring off the bone,
It ain't no damn near. It is off the bone.
yeah, okay, you tear his hamstring off the bone. You trade for a wide receiver that is ranked last in separation in the entire league when your offense is ranked almost last in separation in the entire league, and you give up more than it cost for the original wide receiver one on that team, the Carolina Panthers, and Deontay Johnson. The Cowboys paid more for Jonathan Mingo than the Ravens did for Deontay Johnson. If that doesn't sum up the Cowboys 2024 season, I don't know what will. So that's my favorite moment.
I mean, overall, obviously, all time, my favorite trade deadline moment is Cowboys 2018 trading for Amari Cooper. But if I had to go for this season, I do like what the Commanders did in trading for Lattimore. I get it. I understand it. It still runs with a lot of risk, obviously, because Lattimore has been hurt guy for damn near every year of his career at this point. He's always been hurt guy, and it's annoying. And he ain't playing Mike Evans no more. So now we'll see how good of a corner he actually is. Because I know Mike Evans was on that tarmac looking for that nigga. Like, you not finna get away from me. We finna scrap one more time before you leave, bitch ass nigga. But
Man,
nah.
he was beefing with AJ Brown.
Oh, that is that. Oh god.
No, that is going to be pay per view
Oh
because
god.
y'all know AJ Brown be talking shit.
Hey, AJ be talking, and Marshawn do not like to back down from nobody. So, hey, look, that's gonna be a good one right there. But I do like what the Commanders did. Overall, to just touch on what the Cowboys did because I got to. I am a fan, and I will continue to talk about this team. Unfortunately, I get why they did it. I understand why they did it. Is a fourth a little bit too rich? Yeah, but then again, you are getting 2 years of team control. Um, Even he's probably going to survive the coaching staff. He should survive the coaching staff. He's still got a lot of developing to do, but obviously, hopefully, with the new coaching staff that's going to come in, he'll develop into a positive player, so that 4 won't look too bad. It's not the same. Like people will compare the trade to the Trey Lance trade. It's not exactly the same. Mingo will see the field eventually. It's not like, oh, he just won't see the field. Woo, woo. My only issue with the Mingo trade is that it stops them from drafting a receiver early. Now, granted, this receiver class isn't too impressive, so I'm not gonna be like overly hurt about it. But like, Cowboys are probably gonna finish with like a top almost 6. It might be barely outside that top 5 range. But obviously, you got guys like T Mac up there. I would have loved Isaiah Bond. I consider Travis a corner, but hey, if you want a Travis. But again, I consider Travis a corner, but I kind of understand why they did it. But the issue for me only being that I would have loved to see them still draft another receiver and not let this Mingo move stop them. But I'm not mad at the move. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I actually don't hate it.
Cam, before you go, I got a follow-up question for Dalen.
Shit.
I feel like that is pretty much the basis of also my disdain for the trade. I know this football team. They like to give you here, nigga, damn, acquisitions where it's like, all right, here, nigga, damn, we have a wide receiver now. So when it comes time April, when it comes time in the spring to sign a wide receiver or to draft a wide receiver high, they can say positions filled. But do you think specifically for a wide receiver like T Mac with his ability to separate and catch the ball and win vertically, do you feel like a receiver like him could put the Cowboys in a weird situation where they would have to take him top 6? Or do you feel like it's a situation where the Cowboys would still probably pass because of Mingo getting traded for it at the deadline?
I mean, I think they're a team that will easily take every scenario, and they'll consider anything and everything. I do think, like we've seen, like obviously, we've seen this team draft. They love first round offensive linemen. They will die on that hill every single fucking day of the week. Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, bro, they love first round linemen. They do, and they were all drafted 2011, 2014, and then 17. I think it was 2017 or 2018 for Travis. I think it was 2017. Actually, no, 2015. It was 2015, I think, is when Travis got drafted. So literally you drafted 3 first-round linemen in basically 5 years. Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, another first-round offensive lineman. That'll be 3 offensive linemen in 4 years, actually. I just think that that's what they'll do, but I do think a receiver like T-Mac should be up for consideration, but the problem is now body, like in terms of like you don't have that element of speed on the offense. Like Mingo is the speed guy, but Mingo's not like the speed guy. He's more like long speed, get strides going type of guy, not like the overall bursty guy like Isaiah Bond would be. But I mean, T-Mac should still be on the board or in consideration, but they're probably gonna go Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They're probably gonna go Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell up in that number 6 pick.
What's your favorite trade deadline moment?
Well, I got 2 to pick from, but I'm gonna pick the more more of a gamble one and then save the other one for my next topic. But I did like the fact that we tried to address our issues at corner. Um, because our quarterback room has been very much maligned to start this year. Maligned is actually being nice. We've been damn near historically bad. It was something I saw that said pretty much teams averaged 19 yards completion on third down, some shit like that.
Oof.
We're giving up 19. I mean, if
That's
you know,
crazy.
if my Ravens fans, if you watched the game on Sunday, I mean, Denver felt so asked about our like they felt like they had it. They went for it on fourth down at least like 4 times in the first half, and I can't even blame them. So I did like us using our 7th round pick on as a flyer on Tre'Davious White. Basically, I know he's been hurt. He's had some rough injuries. He was a really good player, but he just dealt with some really really bad injuries. First ACL, and then obviously when you tear your ACL, you're always gonna have some overcompensation issues. And the worst thing you want is to pop that Achilles because that happens a lot with ACLs, and unfortunately that's what happened with him. Ended up tearing his Achilles the following year. So he's been hurt, but if he still has the talent that I think he can have, and he balls out for us, or plays at least just better than Brandon Stevens, I think we'll be fine. And I'm glad we tried to make a move because I know they probably didn't want to spend the top pick because corners it's a premium position, so normally it costs to try to get a good one. But I think if Trey White can stay healthy and he can pick up this defense, I think he'll be a great late season addition for us. So that'll be my pick for probably favorite moment. I mean favorite trade deadline moment because we need him bad.
Actually, I'll bring up a funny trade deadline moment. Muhammad Sanu went for a 2nd-round pick.
The GOAT, Rutgers legend.
Yeah, yeah. There have been some wild trades over the years. Let's transition a little bit here to around the league. Gentlemen, the trade deadline uh was swarmed with trades. They started 2 weeks before the deadline even came with Devontae Adams going to the New York Jets, Amari Cooper going to the Bills. Just off top, Marshawn Lattimore going to the Commanders. This Darius Smith going to the Lions. DeAndre Hopkins going to the Chiefs. I mean, bodies, 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 bodies. Full Franklin Saint from the season 5 of Snowfall. Like everybody was just on the move. But what trade deadline move do you feel is going to be the most impactful? And for this one, we'll start with Cam.
I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna do the one slated more towards my team, and then the one that I feel is it might have doomed us. It might have doomed us. But first, let's start with Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, undersized receiver who came out of I believe Toledo. Played his first 5. I think it was 5 years. Played his first like 5 years with Pittsburgh. Started coming on second and third season. Really, really good route runner, really good separator. Obviously, he had some spells where he would drop some very easy passes. Obviously, it was a weird situation with him last year with some effort issues where they just went ahead and forced him out and traded him to Carolina. But while he was in Carolina, after Bryce Young was benched, um, he started building up a real good chemistry with Andy Dalton, and I feel like that helped him a lot when it came to shooting. And luckily, we were able to grab him. So I think he'll be really good for our team because we just need separators. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers have been doing a good job all year, but we don't necessarily have the depth that we should. And I feel like now with the acquisition of Deontay Johnson, it's gonna help us more with more depth issues because I think our third receiver was Nelson Aguilar, which was Nelson's been decent since playing first. I'm not gonna shit on Nelson, but definitely having Deontay Johnson there is gonna help us a lot because I think Nelson would be really good in the fourth spot. Obviously we still have Tylen Wallace, and then I'm sure at some point at the end of the year we're gonna try to work in Tez Walker so we can kind of get him booted up and suited up, ready for having a bigger role next year. And I think that Deontay Johnson helps with that. I think the younger guys can learn a lot from Deontay Johnson. He's a really spectacular route runner. I just hope that he can stay healthy, and I just hope that he does not start having drop issues because we don't need that. I mean, I love Bateman, but these last 2 weeks he's dropped some passes where I'm just like, come on, bro. The Browns game one, I get it. He was literally staring into the sun like so Illuminati, and so like that happens, but you gotta make it work, bro. Like you gotta make it happen. Now, the one that I do feel like is gonna be the most impactful around the league, I think it's the D Hop trade, man. I gotta go with the D Hop trade. I think that him and Patrick Mahomes is just a recipe for success for them. And when it happened, everybody's worried. It's like, bro, he's washed. But I'm just like, look, he may not be quote unquote as fast as he was. I mean, first off, D Hop was never the fastest, but I'm sure he lost a couple steps. But at the end of the day, he's still a savvy former All Pro receiver. Travis Kelce has lost a lot of speed, but guess what he's still doing? Getting open and still getting a smooth. He can still get you a smooth 6 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards. Sometimes he break a tackle. He can get you another 15. He's not the no, he's not the speedster that he was. Um, and I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is the same way. I mean, if you watch that Buccaneers game, you clearly saw how comfortable Patrick already is with D Hop. If you were like, it's literally D Hop, Travis, and Watson. Those are the receivers right now that Patrick Mahomes had all of his trust in. Granted, yes, he has no choice, but that's just how Patrick Mahomes is gonna do it. He has those three guys, and he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna make it work no matter what. I got this defense, and now I have a vet in DeAndre Hopkins where I mean y'all saw the touchdown run. He knew to keep moving. He found a soft spot in the zone and took advantage of it. So it's it could definitely pose a very big problem, especially if Xavier Worthy comes on a little bit later in the year. It makes it better. And then obviously everybody expects them to have a somewhat deep run. So they're gonna hope that Hollywood can at least come back around around like first round if they don't have a bye. So I think that that's the one that's I feel is one of the best underrated trades of the season with getting D Hop. What was it for a fifth? Yeah, for
I
a
think
fifth
so,
round
yeah.
pick. And then if they go to the Super Bowl, so it converts into a fourth round pick if Kansas City goes to the Super Bowl, and if D Hop plays 60% of the regular season snap. So
Okay, okay. It ain't too bad. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. I didn't even know they had that pick, or they had the pick conditions and stuff. I just remember the picks. I didn't remember the conditions.
I just happened to see it. That's the only reason why I ain't even know either.
But shit, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I kind of, I'll just touch on, I'll touch a little bit on my second one, but the main one that I'm interested in seeing, I ain't gonna lie, uh, Jump Ball Mania in Pittsburgh with Pickens and Mike Williams. Goodness gracious, Russ about to have a time just literally blindly throwing that bitch up to two 6'2" plus receivers that can't separate worth a damn. But best believe they gonna come down with that motherfucker every time.
Ball Russ.
The jump ball is about to go crazy in Pittsburgh. But the other trade I kind of want to touch on just a smidge, a little bit, just to like, because I'm kind of somewhat intrigued by it. Baron Browning going to the Cardinals. I kind of forgot that he had got traded, and I remember seeing a little something about it, and I was like, okay, like he always had been like, I guess you could say, like one of those players that's like he's decent on the Broncos, wasn't really, I guess, living up to the hype that they wanted him to, but like a team like the Cardinals who basically don't literally have me and my fellow mates over here rushing the passer, having Baron Browning as an upgrade is gonna matter a lot.
I mean, shit. When he went to Denver, I think he was originally off ball,
Yeah.
but then they had some injuries at edge, and they basically were like, "Hey, bro, let's see if you can rush the if you can rush the edge." And he showed them enough of what they wanted to see in it, and I think it helped them keep a spot for next year because yeah, they're very much aligned when it came to edge rushing. It was really just him, Cooper. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they're gonna need
It
an
was their
edge.
own. It was their own fault with Edge though, because they were. That's what
True.
I'm saying. They had traded Bradley Chubb away and then had like nothing behind them. They just kind of said,
Yeah,
we'll
they said,
handle it."
"Fuck it, we got to figure out something." And they knew that they had value in either trading away Cooper or Browning, so they finally pulled the trigger, trading Browning.
Speaking of, we'll see. There are a lot of teams right now in the league that are having success, but aren't really getting the praise from national media, aren't really getting the conversations potentially from us. So, gentlemen, what teams do you feel are currently flying under the radar? For this question, we will start with Dalen.
Shit. Funny enough, like I said, the team that I was actually gonna pick was the Cardinals. I was gonna pick the Cardinals. I was gonna say the Cardinals are definitely flying under the radar. They've definitely done a great job at just honestly playing tough offensively. They're still working out a little bit of kinks, and Kyler still has a little bit of like what the fuck moments. Because I don't know if y'all seen it, but like there's a Twitter clip going around of literally like Trey McBride being wide open in the end zone for his first touchdown of the season. Kyler sees him. Kyler doesn't throw it. Tries to like spin juke the defensive lineman that rushes him, and then spin juke him again, and then just throws it away. I go, Kyler,
Real.
you like I'm like, Kyler, dude, what are we doing here? Like it's still working out the kinks of that. But overall, like I said, they've done a good job defensively. They play good. I think that scheme is very solid, even with them not having a lot of talent on that defense. The scheme has been fantastic. I don't know what Gannon's been doing to them, but they've definitely been playing hard. So shout
Yeah,
out
fire in
to
the gut.
shout out to Jonathan Gannon. Shout out to Jonathan Gannon and shout out to the Cardinals. They've definitely already. I think I predicted them going 8-9. I think they're still on that pace to go like about 8-9. But honestly, they're superseding a lot of expectations. I think they're first or second in their division. I think right now they might be. I
If
think
I had
they're
to guess, it's
first
probably.
technically.
Oh, really? Hold on, let me. I got it
I
up
think
on this
so.
iPad.
It just depends on where the Rams are, because I know the Rams they beat they. I don't think they won. I don't think they haven't lost a division game. I don't think the Cardinals have lost a division game neither, if I'm not tripping. But I don't fully remember. They're first or
Oh yeah,
second,
no, you're
which
right.
is
The Arizona is their first, and then Los Angeles is second current.
yep. So they've definitely superseded my expectations. I had them. I mean, I had them finishing third in the division, and again, it's still we're halfway through the season, so shit could easily change really quickly. But they're still balling out there. So shout out Arizona.
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the other team that's on the screen because I could technically have probably picked the Rams, but I've already talked about them for the last 2 weeks. Um, they're still showing how good and solid they are. But I want to talk about Los Angeles for the simple fact of now I never questioned um John Harbaugh when it comes to him developing talent because he that's one thing he's been good at. He was good at it in his first stop in San Francisco. Obviously, he did it in college on numerous occasions. But I think people don't understand like how good their secondary. their secondary has been really, and it's a lot of guys who are either, you have Christian Fulton, who was a pick like what 3 years ago at this point,
Fulton,
second round pick 3 years ago.
second round pick in 2020. He went before Trayvon
Yeah,
Diggs.
so like 4 years ago. So he didn't really show anything in
He ain't
Tennessee,
showing
but
nothing in Tennessee.
he's been playing really good this year. They've been getting good play out of their rookies. Derwin is Derwin. So they've been doing really well, even when the pass rush isn't getting home. And they still have Mack and Bosa, and they're throwing in Thule. So they've been playing really good defensively. And then obviously, yes, I will slander him from time to time. But one thing I will never say, I will never sit here and act like that man Greg Roman does not have a well versed and high powered run game. He always has, and he always will. I would never take that from him, and he's been showing it. J.K. Dobbins has been playing fantastic, especially on the deal that he signed with them. Fantastic. Like, I was hurt to see J.K. go because I like J.K., but I understood why we didn't sign him. He had too many injuries for us to feel comfortable with, and I get it. But him being healthy right now, it just does nothing but make me smile because I always like J.K. He's been playing fan fucking tastic. Herbert's gonna have a lot of games where he's not necessarily gonna be doing the things we were used to from Herbert, the things that we know he can do. Pushing the ball down the field. Like we all want to see Herbert doing that more and more. He has really good arm talent, but it is what it is. You just don't always get to see that when it comes to who you have as your OC or as your head coach. But even still, when you get those chances and shots, he's still doing it. I mean, hopefully he keeps this momentum for the rest of the year. But Quinn Johnson had a really good game this past Sunday, and Lat McConkey has been really good. He's been just as advertised. With him being that high second round pick, he's been really good for Justin Herbert. So the Chargers are playing really good right now, and it's kind of just going under the radar because I don't really know why they're going under the radar. I mean, only thing I can think of is like besides our guy Hayden, there's maybe only been one time where I've actually known like a Chargers fan in real life, and I know they've had issues with trying to you know cater and garner more to people. Granted, that's what happens sometimes when you leave. You leave a state where you leave a city where you had way more loyalty in San Diego, but hey, money always gonna change things. But the
I mean,
Los
money gonna
Angeles Chargers
change,
have
but
been,
they fighting with the Rams too already. They fighting with the Rams. They fighting with too
but
many
they
too many.
they they are still struggling too to get fans for real. I mean, well, it's not gonna be as
It,
bad because there
it
were
makes diff.
LA,
I say yeah, it's a little different
yeah,
because obviously the Chargers are just moving different cities. The Rams move states, like states.
and
But
plus
the
the
Rams
Rams.
also have a history of being in California
That's
and
what I
in
was just
LA
about to
too.
say. So yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think that's why it's not as bad. Um, Between the Rams and even the Raiders, it's just yeah, Los Angeles. They
Oh
just
yeah,
always had a
Raiders.
tough
Yeah,
time with. They've always had a tough time with their fans, especially now since you know just say it's very easy to take over SoFi Stadium. It's the reason why they tried to
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, it is now time for lock it up with Hunter. What's going on, gentlemen? It is that time again where we talk about, you know what it is, rookie ranks. First question on the docket for rookie ranks this week is who helps their draft stock more this weekend, Milrow or Beck? Um, I don't know why this is a question. I mean, I think the obvious answer for me as the quarterback scout is Jalen Milrow. Um, Carson Beck and the words help draft stock right now is like trying to speak Chinese in Colombia. Like, and I have tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've tried to say, hey, that 2023 tape was all right. Okay, maybe the receivers aren't separating. I've tried every logical reason, but the conclusion I keep coming to based on film is the guy just can't play. His decision making, his ability to read defenses, his ability to throw the ball consistently to spots is just not there. He has arm talent, he has some mobility, but at the end of the day, he just simply cannot accurately make throws and read defenses. And that's what goes into being an NFL quarterback, unfortunately. You can have the biggest arm in the world. If you can't throw the ball accurately, no one's going to take you. And even if they do take you, no defense is going to respect you. They're going to ask you to beat them with your arm every game. So for me, the answer is obvious and clear. Jalen Milrow.
Well, with the way I'm reading the question, I see the question says, who right now is in a Heisman frontrunner, Travis Hunter or Ashton Genty? Travis, I think, stole the Heisman a little bit. Actually, hold on, my glasses are a little dirty. Let me clean my glasses real quick. My glasses are a little dirty, so I fault y'all. My fault. Oh, we're actually talking about Carson Beck and Jalen Milrow. Jalen Milrow. Next question. Next question, please. Next
Well,
question, please.
it is time for me to advocate the demonia. All right.
Now, I will. Before he goes, I will say this. To be fair, I think Beck is playing. What are they playing? Florida. I think they're playing
They're
Florida.
playing Ole Miss.
They're
They're
playing
playing
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss.
They played
Alabama
Florida
is
last
playing
week,
Okay,
LSU.
and he
yeah. So
threw
it's like,
3 picks for
yeah,
the
they play.
second straight game in
Yeah,
a row.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Ole Miss has. I mean, Ole Miss got a decent little defense now. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But in my opinion, it'll still be. I think Milrow. It'll still be Milrow.
'Cause I think yeah, them are coming off a bye too. So what time to play those like so Carson Beck, a guy who coming into the season had very high expectations as far as quarterback ranking goes. Not just from our scout, but national. He was projected to be a first round pick comfortably. And to say he's struggled is putting it very mildly. He's been having a tough go at things, and like it was mentioned before, he has had 2 straight games where he's thrown 3 picks. He's thrown 6 picks in 2 games. That is absolutely terrible, and I am not gonna sit here and act like it's not. But I think the only reason why I posed this question was simply off the fact of, as of right now, I definitely do feel like Ole Miss's defense is better than LSU's. LSU's definitely has some ballers still. Wood Weeks has been playing really good. They've definitely started to come together. Nussmeier's been pretty solid on the offensive side of things. They have a really solid freshman running back. But I'm still interested to see what Beck is doing against Ole Miss because Ole Miss has a very talented defense, especially defensive front. I mean, they've been obviously you know about Walter Nolan, a guy who can easily be a first round pick this upcoming draft in April. Then there's also Princely. I think he's healthy now. I know he's been dealing with an injury for a while, but I think he's healthy and he probably will give it a go. Jared Ivey's been there, and they have two really athletic middle linebackers. I know one of them is Daughtery, and what's the other one? I can't remember the other one's name right now. I'm blanking. So as far as a scout, granted, I'm not the quarterback scout. I still want to see what he does against his defense because it's still an NFL worthy defense for you to have solid tape. You know what I mean? And obviously, if he shits the bed again, then there's just kind of no hope for him at this point. I know he's tanked his draft stock horribly to the point where but he's not a senior, right? He's a junior.
Who is?
Yeah. Is Beck a senior or is he a junior?
He's a redshirt junior.
So it's
Yeah.
to the point where people are actually thinking like, you might have to go back to school, buddy. This is absolutely rough.
But
Stetson
that's
Bennett.
but bro, that's the point, Cam. It's like you're saying this game could tank his stock. Bro, he's cooked
No, no, no.
already.
No. I'm not saying. Well, I mean, obviously, it can always. At the end of the day, it could definitely always get worse. But what I'm trying to say is like him throwing bad picks, him throwing those 3 picks against Florida killed it. It's just bad. They had 3 DBs hurt. Like it was that. I'm they had 3 DBs hurt, man. I'm not gonna look. Like I said, I can't excuse them because they were all bad.
Oh
But
fuck.
but I think also at the same time, NFL scouts have a savior complex, and like I feel like if he puts out a decent outing against Ole Miss or a really good outing, if he takes care of the ball and doesn't have a bunch of turnover worthy plays, I think that somebody's gonna be like, you know what, he's not that bad, and that's the way I'm looking at it. Because don't get me wrong, Melrose been in a slump, but Melrose slump is nowhere near as bad as Bet. But
Milroe's
I think
also actually played good this year too. Like Milroe at the start of the year, I believe its touchdown interception ratio was like 8-1.
he was
Like
starting off the year
he he
fire.
he was he was cooking earlier in the year. So yeah,
Yeah,
Carson Beck this year
which
to
is
me has
true.
always looked a little flat. You know, so
Which I definitely could agree with, but I don't know. Something about me just feels like if he has a crazy good game or a game where he doesn't turn over the ball, there's gonna be somebody out there in the NFL scouting room like, now wait a minute, that's the guy I've been looking for, and they're gonna hold it up and be like, see, he's not as broken as we thought.
it is now time for our games of the week. First game of the week is Washington Commanders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just again want to shout out the Washington Commanders franchise for the success they're having right now. 7-2, leading the division. I believe they're third in the conference. Are they third or are they second? Like, regardless, from having the number 2 overall pick to being the second or third best team in the conference record wise is pretty impressive. So shout out, kudos to Washington. But in the context of this question, will the Steelers' defense be too much for Jaden Daniels? I'll actually start off with this one. I don't think they'll be too much, but I do think they will give him problems. Right? We saw in the Chicago game, despite the Hail Mary, right? We saw in the Baltimore game, Jaden Daniels is still a very young quarterback. That might sound like a simple statement, but what I mean by that is Jaden Daniels can be manipulated. He can be confused. And when you think of Pittsburgh, especially with TJ Watt coming off the edge, that's a defense that gives everybody problems. But more so, especially younger quarterbacks' problems because is this game being played in Pittsburgh or in Washington?
I want to
No,
say
it's at
Pittsburgh.
it's at Pittsburgh. Wait, did they change their name of their stadium again? What the fuck?
What, Acrisure? Yeah, because it's Acrisure now. So if it's Acrisure, then that's Pittsburgh.
No. I think it's in whatchamacallit. I don't
No,
think
it's at Washington.
Washington is.
At Washington.
Yeah, I
At
don't think
Washington.
Okay.
Washington's FedEx Field no more. Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say, if they were in Pittsburgh, that kind of definitely changes things.
Oh yeah, that'd
But
be rough.
being at home, I still expect the defense to give Jaden Daniels problems. But overall, Jaden Daniels this year, despite being a rookie quarterback, has been in a zone. His completion percentage is still way, way up. And I believe that he's really starting to find his rhythm as a NFL passer. So while I think the Steelers defense will be a lot, as Dalen alluded to earlier, look, the Steelers might be having more success throwing the ball with Russell Wilson. I love George Pickens, but George Pickens was never the route runner, right? And then you add Mike Williams to that. I feel like this game is going to be close, but for this specific game, I'll lean towards the youth. I'll lean towards the team with a better record. So give me Washington in this game. I'll take Washington to beat Pittsburgh 27-26. I think it'll be a really, really close game, but I think Washington will pull it out at the end.
See, that's kind of why I do think it'll be a close game. But I think early on, I do think that Jaden Daniels is going to kind of have a little bit of a struggle fest. Or Jaden Daniels and that offensive line is going to have a struggle fest trying to deal with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Like those dudes are demons. Those dudes rushing waves. And we know TJ's coming in full effort. Just he don't know when to fucking stop. And it's just like this dude is going to wear you down. He gets you there one time, he's gonna scare the shit out of you the rest of the game. That dude is a demon. He genuinely, he's built a little bit different, and it's just like,
Hey, damn.
like I can't do nothing but respect it. Like I hate the Steelers, and I've always been taught to born to hate the Steelers, but like bro, TJ Watt is an amazing player to watch. I love watching him, brother. When he's playing any team that I just want to win, or any team that I'm just watching as like a neutral fan, my God. But him, Highsmith, I think him and Highsmith had, I think they both had at least one sack last game. I forgot who they played, but they both had a sack at least last game. Like I said, those dudes rushing waves. Um, I think Washington's going to struggle early on blocking that guy because I don't think they have the talent to block TJ Watt or even block Alex Highsmith. Or I think Herbert's been practicing this week, so maybe Herbig plays. So that's a third rusher. That's Nate Herbig, and they just traded for Preston Smith. So now we're looking at some shit here. We're looking at some shit here, brother. This is terrifying for Pittsburgh, or this is terrifying for Washington. So I do think early on that Pittsburgh defense is going to just be too much up front for Washington to handle. I do think Washington eventually will try to storm their way back, but I will give it a little bit of too little too late. I'm honestly going to go with 27-21. Pittsburgh wins.
I guess before I go, I'll ask Artie a quick question. So, how do you feel like Jaden Daniels is against simulation?
That's a great question. I think he's okay. Now,
Um,
in college, he was bad. I think he's okay now. But you see, okay, not good, not great. He's okay. So it's definitely something that I was kind of alluding to without saying it earlier. He's still a young quarterback. You can still confuse Jaden Daniels, right? And it's not a slight. I'm not saying he's not good. But what I'm saying is he's still young. He can still be bamboozled, fooled, led astray. And assimilated pressure is one of those ways. So, um, yeah, yeah, he's okay, but he definitely still has room to improve in that area. I think that
No,
and throwing over the middle of the field are his two biggest weaknesses as an NFL quarterback right now.
well, I mean, the PQ was there, pick on him. But um, so with that being said, Jaden Daniels is gonna see a lot of simulated pressure. There are gonna be plays where he thinks that TJ is about to fucking rip his face off, and then all of a sudden there's a nickel coming in, or they're gonna set him all seven and say, "Fuck it, go get him." So it's gonna like y'all alluded to earlier. It's gonna be some very powerful mind games that Tomlin, well, I mean that the Steelers are gonna be running, and if the Steelers are able to capture a lead early and they can just they can play keep away because their defense is so good, I can very easily see them coming away with a win. Now, if Jaden struggles in the first half, and then you know whatever adjustments that Cliff Kingsbury puts together for him that help him with these situations, if he's able to adjust in that second half, if they have a really bad first half and starting a little bit slow, I think that he could make some plays and start trying to pick them apart. But I think part of the advantage that Pittsburgh has is the fact that they play Lamar Jackson 2 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they do a really good job of not really letting him run the ball. They have a pretty solid contain. And so, especially if they're playing with the lead, they're going to be trying to tee off on him. And I don't even know who the Commanders' tackles are, but I know they're not good enough to block Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. And then, like Dalen alluded to, if Herbig comes in on a rotation alongside Preston Smith, and you still got Cam Hayward there, it's not gonna be fun. And Pittsburgh's been getting their hand on the ball. VD Bishop just always is around the ball. So if
Louisville
Jaden throws a bad
legend.
ball, if Jaden Daniels throws a bad ball and VD Bishop's around, he gonna snag him. And because he's been playing really good to start this year, from going undrafted. Granted, he did lead he led college football in I think PBUs last year. So him having ball skills really isn't really that shocking. So it's just like damn. Now it's just coming to fruition because he's catching more picks in the league than I think he has about the same amount of picks in the league as he had his final year in college. So it's just crazy, but that's what the Steelers do. They demand a lot of talent out of their defenders. Even when you think, bro, who's this guy? He's an undrafted free agent. He's not gonna really be that fire. But they just know how to get the best out of their players with their scheme. And the Steelers have still been playing great. I really don't know how. Well, there's a way, obviously, but it's gonna be very interesting to watch Jaden Daniels try to figure out that defense, and that's why I think it'll be a good game to watch. But I'm still gonna ultimately pick Pittsburgh to come away with this one.
To help y'all point out, the tackles for Washington are Brandon Coleman, rookie from TCU, and
Um,
Andrew Wiley.
yep,
I can't imagine how that will go. So,
yep. Just Jaden, just make the right decision. Get down when you need to. Throw the ball away.
You
Try to
don't want to
make
be
the best
taking too
reads
many.
you
You don't
can.
want to be taking too many hits from 280-pound Preston Smith and 260-pound TJ Watt. Highsmith is gonna come off the edge quick, try to hit you, and Herbig, if he comes back, gonna come off the edge. You just don't want to take those hits. Please don't. Cam Hayward's
Yeah,
also 300 pounds. Please, brother, get down.
the Houston Texans have been decimated by injuries, like decimated. And they're facing one of the best teams, not only in the NFC but in the NFL right now, in the Detroit Pussycat Lions. Um, can the Houston Texans put up a fight against Detroit? I'll start this one off with Dalen.
Whew, all right. So the Texans right now, as you know, as already introduced, are very, 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 very banged up. Obviously, we know. I think Nico's actually supposed to play this week, so Nico might be coming back from what I've been hearing or from what I remember.
Yes,
Nico's
sir. Wide
supposed to be
receiver
coming.
one.
Yeah, so wide receiver one, Nico Collins should be coming back. I'm pretty certain. Damn, he didn't practice today, so shit. Well, we'll see if he comes
They're
back.
probably just being careful because it is hammy. You know how
It
that
is
shit goes.
hamstring. And, we all know about fucking soft tissue, and yeah, that shit's annoying. Oh, it was probably almost a grade 3. I would assume it's probably a grade 2. That's why they IR'd him real quick. Let him sit for 4 games. Yeah, nah. So, but man, I mean, they kind of banged up everywhere. I think their offensive linemen have been banged up as well.
Yeah, I think they lost
Um,
Green for the rest of the year. Something like
yeah, I think Kenyon Green is done for the rest of the year. I'm pretty sure he is. They lost a rookie. They got a lot of questionable defenders. I remember Will Anderson I think got rolled up on I think Thursday versus the Jets. Fadakasi's questionable. Al Shair's questionable. Um, just Jimmy Ward. I don't even know if he played. I think one of their safeties didn't play in the Thursday game, so I don't even know. But I ultimately I do think that the Lions being a lot healthier is what's going to help the Lions beat the Texans. Um, again, there is a path to where the Texans can win because again, the secondary for Detroit is still food, and I do fully believe that you know. I mean, again, I do believe that Stroud and them can get it done, but the problem is, I know they're probably going to be asking Stroud to do a lot because the Lions are actually very good against the run. I'm pretty sure they're a top 5 team against the run. So Mixon might not even be a factor. I'm almost assuming Mixon just won't even be a fucking factor. So it'll basically be on the arm of Stroud and maybe the route running of Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz and Hutchinson, all them. It could get ugly really quickly, but I think the Lions will end up winning it pretty handedly. Give me 35-14 Lions.
Yeah, if I could go really quick, Cam, I was just gonna say, Houston just doesn't have the horses in this race. They just don't. Unfortunately, they just don't, and it sucks because this could have been a great game. But Detroit's one of the best teams in the league right now, and yeah, this is gonna be a bloodbath. I've got Detroit winning 31-13.
that. I mean, yeah. I alluded to this a little bit last week. It's definitely a war of attrition for Houston, and it just doesn't make it any better that they don't have a bye until 14. They have the last bye week, and they've dealt with so many injuries. Granted, they do have guys coming back. Like I think Cole Toll came back, and he's been pretty much missing. He missed majority of the year. And they, even looking at their injury report, like Dalen said earlier, it's a lot of guys who are questionable, but I definitely expect a decent amount of them to probably try to give it a go. Like I'm sure Will Anderson is probably gonna play. Um, they're getting some linemen back who are questionable. Shaq Mason, Patterson will probably end up playing. But then, like Dalen said, you got Folo and Jimmy Ward. They're both dealing with groin, so they'll probably just be game time decisions. They're just gonna move slow. It's tough because the Texans are a talented team, but that's what happens sometimes. The NFL gods are not fair. Injuries can happen anytime, any place, and they just have the injury bug. So I think Stroud can make it a compelling game, though. With that being said, because yes, the Lions also made an acquisition. Excuse me, she also made an acquisition in getting to Darius Smith, but mhm. but he's made an acquisition of Jadarius Smith, and I feel like Jadarius Smith isn't bad, but I don't know if he's just gonna like, which I could be wrong. I don't know if he's just gonna bully and destroy the tape. Now there are some people who are definitely cook food on that line, but I'll be shocked if him alone is just gonna destroy an entire game and him sack him 5 times like we know Hut did. So I still think that Stroud can do as best as he can with his arm, as long as he doesn't make any crazy turnovers. And I don't want to put it as like a blowout. But I do think it's a close game. Actually, fuck it. Give me the Texans. I'm gonna say that CJ has a shootout and he ends up winning because like we alluded to earlier, the Lions secondary has been playing better as the weeks go on, but it's still not on a level where it's like, I should be afraid of the Detroit Lions secondary. And they still don't have a crazy pass rush. Now, like David said, they are good in the run, so obviously you're gonna still try to keep a defense honest. Hopefully Mixon can find something to make some plays out of nothing. But I still do think the Texans have a chance to win. And I think they will win. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Texans this week.
Lone Wolf Cam here. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Sunday Spiral. Short, sweet, to the point. This episode, you guys. Hey, you know how we do it. If you like the video, you know, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Um, the first film session of the 2025 cycle was supposed to come out November 1st, but it's not obviously it's not coming out November 1st. It won't be coming out November, but it will be coming out very soon. So you guys stay tuned for that. I know that the film sessions uh are I guess number one watched content on here, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, as draft season continues to wind up, so will the draft coverage from us. But again, if you like this video, please like this video, consider subscribing, and share with your homies, share with your homegirls, and yeah, we'll see you guys back here next week. Enjoy NFL action. Peace.